or impacting on our lives. There are researchers that go into most of these things, and of course, to help us to understand and to be able to appreciate most of these researches. Dr. Emmanuel Lante, he is a savvy and an innovative and results-focused president and chief executive of the Envasev Research Consult Limited, with over 10 years experience in strategic and transformational management, providing positive business models for the growth and overall profitability of the company. He holds a PhD and a Master of Philosophy in Oceanography from the University of Ghana, and he has also an honorary doctorate degree in business administration, leadership, and strategic management. Dr. Lante has over 18 years experience in environmental research. He's a pro and also consulted with strong technical know-how in many specialist field, notably oceanography, and that is geotechnical and geophysical. He's going to be my guest, and of course, with all this and all the awards he's received over the years, he's going to be talking to us about our environment and some of the researches that has gone into making sure that we are safe. So he's set and joining me via Zoom this morning. Dr. Lante, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Joe.
And welcome. I hope you are doing well.
By God's grace, we are putting body and soul together.
We thank God for a new day. And I believe that as we're talking about the environment, you are ready to take us away on all the things that we need to know.
Sure. The environment is a broad area, so
yes.
We'll see whether we'll be able to make justice to the understanding of your viewers and listeners.
Well, you recently received an award, and from all of us here, we say congratulations for your recent award that you received.
Thank you very much.
Can you let us in on that award that you received?
Thank you very much. There's been a number of awards that I myself and the company we have received over the last 2 years. Especially last year, there were a number of them that we received, about 8 or so of them that we received. The recent one has to do with we received 2 in Dubai. Top of the Business Leader Award. And we also received the Visionary CEO Award. Then the African Most Respected CEO Award. Then also the Best Provider of Environmental Consultancy for Public Service in Africa, which was organized by the African Public Service Organization. It was organized here in Accra. Latter part of last year. And I think that was the recent one that.
That's the recent award you received.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So, how does this award brings to your table? What does it really motivate you? Does it urge you on to do more as a scientist, research scientist?
Exactly. And certainly so, because some of these awards are moral boosters. Not only for myself as a CEO of the company, but also for the staff. It gave us confidence that we're doing something positive, and probably we are on the right trajectory. And it's also a motivation for us to do more. If you are recognized, it means that your activities or your actions are impacting positively on communities, societies, and the environment at large. So yes, it's a morale booster, and it makes you to do your best, or move from the level where you are to probably the next level.
That's very, 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 very impactful.
And I think in addition to that, it gives trust to your company.
Okay.
It gives
Some sort of
trust
trust.
to your trust.
Okay.
Confidence that yes, you are doing, because you know the only company operating within the environmental space. So receiving such an award locally and also internationally, globally, it gives trust to your company. Aside also giving you a platform to do networking with others who are doing similar things elsewhere around the globe. So these are some of the benefits that we tend to derive from
some of these awards.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Lamte will be coming in to look at exactly what your company does in terms of your researches and some of the consultancy services you offer to the people who need them. But you're not there yourself. And we want to once again say Ayiko and congratulations for your achievements.
Thank you very much, and grateful.
All right. So let's throw back a bit into your days here at Presec. Which year did you complete?
I completed Presec 1993.
Okay.
So I'm 1993 group.
Okay. 1993 O level or SS? Yeah.
SS.
SS. Okay. 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 So which house were you by then?
House 4.
House 4.
House 4. But I was a day student throughout the 3-year stay on at Legon Presec. I had opportunity of enjoying the dormitory life during the latter part of our stay when the examination were about to happen. So going from school home to school wasn't pleasant. So I had to come and perch at our 4. So I had some few weeks of enjoying the dormitory and Presec life as a boarder.
So that was at the later part of your school life here in Presec.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what are some of your maybe should I say founding memories of the school whilst you were here? I believe that even though as you were a day student, you had some experiences. I'm sure you did some play some tournaments and did some sports and other things. Can you take us through that?
Yeah, there are few memories, especially the day that I got to Presec. The results had not come, had not been released by then. I came to Presec with my mom, just to come and have a feel at the school that I have selected. And you know, being a coastal guy from Teshi, and my first entry into Presec with a lot of more or less like a forest, birds calling here and there. And in fact, I told my mom that, look, I wouldn't want to attend Presec because I've not seen such an environment before. But actually, when school reopened and friends, guys, students began to troop into the school, we began to make friends here and there, and that brought the feel and enthusiasm at the Presec back. One of the memories I could share. I remember I read a Greek at Presec. I read a Greek, and you know, because Presec is known as a basically science school, we were not doing much of the sciences, especially we are doing the integrated science, so we were not doing much of the science. Getting to the latter stages, especially Form 3, where we started doing chemistry, physics, and other things that constitute the core science. I quite remember one of the classes we were being taught chemistry, and this terminology was mentioned, valency. So I was looking at the lecturer's, the teacher's face, and I asked a question: what is the meaning of that valency? In fact, he looked at me sheepishly as if I had broken some basic law at the school, and everybody was laughing at me at the class. And so the teacher turned and asked somebody just to explain to me what violency was. Apparently, none of them understood what violency was, but they were all laughing at me. And we were given an assignment to go and write the violencies of elements and other things for. And in fact, that particular memory always stays with me anytime I recollect of it, and it brings some good, positive
memories
back. Okay. Yes, then occasionally go to the field, go and play football. And we met the sixth formers there, and there were some few ladies which were among the sixth formers. And I quite remember sometime when we go to the canteen, you see the ladies they come in, they buy the food, take 1 or 2 spoons, and leave everything on the table, whether to show off or whether to do. And you see some of the guys just joining and just completing the stuff on the table.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. But I believe that you have some mates that you remember. You can remember off your head.
Oh yes, for my mates, my classmates, Agric E.
Yes.
Yes, most of them I remember. Wrangler, Ernest Martin, Kanta, Aglico, Vidoga, Milku, Rockstar.
Okay.
Rockstar. And a whole lot of them.
You
know, we have a platform where we share ideas. So most of them are there, including the other science students who are not merely in our class, but when it comes to common courses, we all meet and friends. A lot of them. Few of them as pass on. It's in fact recently one of them, Mukakwe, we have to attend his funeral. May his soul rest in perfect peace. It's one of the funniest guy and very happy, always laughing, happy with everybody. And I remember when I joined the platform, he was the first person I asked, "Hey, where is Okankwe?" And somebody sent me a message behind the scene that, Doc, I'll talk to you later on about Okankwe. I want to thank the PSEC 93 group. I think they did what they could there to support our brother, but the heaven knows better. It's been called to glory, and may his soul rest in perfect peace. Few of them too ahead of a colleague Valentine that also passed on, and sometimes there's nothing we could do, but it's just a pity that we couldn't see such lovely souls once anymore.
Anyway, may their souls rest in perfect peace. But what were you nicknamed whilst you were in school?
I have one popular one, but
the popular one.
Only confined to my mates. Okay. I was called Pontolatu.
Okay, Pontolatu.
Or the Saints.
The Saints.
The Saints, yes. So only few of my class friends who know.
Oh, okay.
But if I had stayed on at the dormitory
on campus,
most would have known the name.
Okay. Well, I believe that the name is mostly known by. I'm sure that with your mates and everybody, I'm sure that they are all following. Anyway, don't forget we are hanging out this morning with Dr. ỌDADEƐ Dr. Emmanuel Lanti, and PSEC is 85 years. What do you have to say to that? And there are numerous activities that's coming, most especially this Friday. I believe we are seeing you at the Touch and Bonfire Night.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's an opportunity to meet people who you haven't met since
for so many
left
years.
school. So many years since we left school. Some have grown gray hairs, some are facially, morphologically, you see people have changed.
Yeah.
When you see them, it brings a good and positive memory, and sometimes it's good. On our platform, occasionally people will share photographs of when we were at school, and see, the whole day when you look at the photograph, you will laugh. It makes your day. It makes your day. So seeing those colleagues, friends, physically, is good. It's even a good platform for networking.
Yes.
We all know what we are doing, where we are, and it's also an avenue when we network, we can probably support each other and also plan something positive for our alma mater, the ỌDADEɛ PRESEC environment. So definitely, I will make it a point to be there on this Friday.
Thank you. We're looking forward to seeing you.
Sure.
All right. So to our substantive topic that we want to have a conversation on this morning, the impact of the environmental research here in Ghana. I believe that there are a lot of researches that go into our environment, and you guys are normally the ones in charge. Can you let us in on some of the researches and some of the things that are really making some impact in terms of our environment here in Ghana?
Okay, thank you very much. So it's just a mindful of ways so environment, we have an impact, we have research.
Okay.
So these are key ways we all know environments. Basically, those non-technical people, environment basically is everything around us.
Okay.
Constitutes our environment. Technically, when we want to look at the environment, we say the sum total of all causal factors that show actual interactions. It's a bit more technical, but what it means is that when you put something in it and as a causal factor, and it brings some interaction. For instance, if you hold your nose and you are not breathing, you will see some interaction. So what it means is that you are preventing oxygen from entering into your system, and there will be a reaction. So that's oxygen, for instance, constitutes an environment. So basically, environment is everything around us. We are talking about air, we are talking about water, we are talking about soil. So solid, gaseous, and liquid things around us all constitute the environment. Then impact. Impact is basically the effect of something on something. So we cannot look at impact as just a negative or connotation to it. It could also be a positive impact, that you are doing something which is bringing positive effects, or you are doing something that is having a negative effect on the environment. And research, it's a scientific process of maybe finding out truth about something. So putting all together, environmental research, yes. I've mentioned the environment that is broad, but basically we can categorize, if we are doing research, all these environmental stuff into, let me say, 4 major components so that it is understood. We can categorize them into 4 major components. So, and those effects, those adverse effects that they bring on the environment, which lead us to probably research on those areas. So first and foremost, climate change, the whole atmosphere. Climate change is one of the prominent areas when it comes to environmental research. We have the biodiversity issues, concerns about biodiversity. I will take time to explain some of these things. Then you mentioned in your preamble about pollution. Yes, we are having pollution, water and soil sediment pollution all around us, even air pollution. Then we have the land degradation. So these four major areas, they constitute the broader areas where when we are doing environmental research, one way or the other, these areas will be touched on in order to understand. So what is climate change? I think we are all aware that first, as scientists, we were wondering whether there's a climate change. But I think now where we are is that we've all appreciated the fact that climate has changed and is continuing to change. So where we are at the moment, it's what are the mitigations? How do we adapt to climate change? And climate change issues are global issues, even though our local activities may constitute portions to the overall climate issue. We are contributing carbon dioxide concentrations in the atmosphere, and as a result of that, we are creating a warmer Earth environment for us, and that also tend to have adverse impacts on us as human or as our environment, having negative impact heat because of even the warmer atmosphere. People are putting on more people are living in air conditions environments, and that also contributes emissions to the environment. So yes, there's been a global effort to ensure that emissions that we are contributing into the atmosphere, for instance, the CO2, the carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere, we all do our part in order to reduce the concentration levels in the atmosphere. So it's a global effort, it's a national effort. Every country signatory to the global arrangements are all mandated to ensure that their activities are one way or the other leads to the reduction of carbon dioxide. Not only carbon dioxide, but other compounds and emissions that contribute to global warming are all adhered to, and efforts are made to reduce their levels in the environment. And if you come to Ghana, the agency responsible for such an activity is the Environmental Protection Agency. The Environmental Protection Agency was established by Act 490, 1994, which also specify the functions and of the agency. And one of the functions of the agency is to promote studies, research, and also surveys and analysis of the for the improvements and also protection of the environment. So that is mainly the focus of the Environmental Protection Agency per the Act, which gives them the legal mandate to ensure that they promote research and also studies of our environments, and also making sure that we are maintaining the integrity of the systems, environmental systems or ecosystems that we have. So because of that, there is also an LI, legislative instrument 1652, which also gives the EPA power that every company, every entity, every developing company who want to establish, they need to go through a process in order to get what we call environmental permit. And if the permit is granted, it comes along with conditions. So one of the conditions is for them to monitor the environment. And for instance, if there are emissions that they are releasing, it should make sure that there are levels, compliance level, where their system shouldn't go beyond. So they need to monitor. If it is also effluent, they need to monitor and submit either quarterly or depending upon what EPA will suggest to the agency in order to ensure that the operations are within the compliance limits of the environment. So yes, EPA is supposed to do that, and they are doing that also with respect to factors that contribute to climate change in our environment. And again, EPA is also mandated to annually submit, I think, reports to through the UNDP, IPCC. They are supposed to submit our annual report in terms of emissions, climate change issues to the body. So that is the aspect of the climate change. When it comes to research on that, yes. So per the EPA requirement, most companies are doing aspects, bits of such a research and monitoring or reporting to the Environmental Protection Agency. I think because the climate change is a large scale kind of research, but some of these reports are just small on a reduced scale. Probably there should be a means where EPA will have to aggregate all these data together into providing a very comprehensive data sets to cover a larger areas for proper comprehension or understanding by scientists, because they are all fragmented. One company provide this, another company provide this. So probably there should be a means so that these information are aggregated together to provide a very good comprehensive understanding of our status as a climate issue at the moment. Apart from that, there are also emissions. The emissions from vehicular emissions, the emissions from even vessels, ships that also come to our ports. All these things contribute to either climate change or the pollution in our atmosphere, in our environment. And in fact, the World Health Organization had indicated that the air pollutants are the silent killers which are killing people every now and then, but because we don't see them with our naked eye, we don't see the adverse impact, the negative impact they are having on us as a society. They are serious killers, because if you look at emissions from vehicles, emissions from mobile transport systems, they are releasing sulfur dioxide levels, carbon monoxide levels, and even nitrous oxide levels, which are beyond the compliance level. And these things are affecting. We are inhaling them because we are in the system together with them. We are inhaling some of these things into our system, and they are killing us. Gone were the days where you hear of cancer killing somebody, probably in Ghana or other areas, but now it's quite common in our system because of the emissions from the vehicles, incomplete combustion, the fuel that are used. Some of them contain higher sulfur levels that, when they are released, form sulfur dioxide, and these are all pollutants which are not good for our system. Even the fuel, some of them also contain VOCs, volatile organic compounds, which react with other substances in the atmosphere. They serve as a precursors and create more compounds that are not very good to our health. So air emissions and pollution are affecting us in a big way, but we because we don't see them, we don't give regards to to them, but they are affecting us. And in other jurisdictions, what they do is that they have a network of monitors all over which are picking levels of these pollutants, and they are giving indexes. So, and there are also live broadcasting where these pollutants are very high based upon traffic levels are very low. So they can give live advice, just like the ỌDADEɛ radio station. When you get this information, you can give advice that, look, those who are applying from probably Legon to Medina, there's a traffic, the pollutants levels there are very high. So probably when you get to Atomic Junction, branch left, some of this information, just like a traffic information, and will help all of us.
But Doctor, from what you are talking about, and it looks like we are really at risk in terms of some of these pollutants in our environment.
Oh yes. There's no two ways. We can't mince words about that. We are, especially the air emissions, air pollutants that we are inhaling into our system. Just if you bear witness, there's been a rampant, people are dying without even knowing some of the causes of the death. And these are silent killers. The air emissions, these are silent killing. We have not focused our attention mainly on those emissions, but they are very devastating, and it's affecting our health. Probably it's even reducing our lifespan as humans, because we are weakening the system.
But in terms of some of the research that goes into some of these findings, I was asking earlier because we want to know how the impact of some of this research that you as an environmental scientist put out through within some period of time to be able to at least help curtail some of these problems. Are those research that you come up with very impactful? Are they really helping?
Yes. For instance, let me give you a quick example. For instance, per the requirement from EPA, as I mentioned, by the LI 1652, companies are supposed to, probably before they establish, they are supposed to do assessment of the environment vis-a-vis what the activities that they are coming to do, and project the impact they are going to have on the receiving environment, and probably prefer mitigative measures to arrest or reduce some of these negative impacts the activities are going to have on the environment. So as part of this, there are other researches which are conducted. For instance, let me use the emissions. So if it's an oil refinery, maybe a power plant, one of the requirements from EPA is for them to measure or model the emissions that the company will produce. So sometimes we want to pick data and model, say that, okay, this company is going to operate. Annually, they are going to use this amount of fuel. We can model and say the volume when they start operation, the volume of emissions of the key pollutants, probably NO2, SO2, CO, and particulate matter, maybe PM10, PM 2.5, or the total suspended solids that they will release into the atmosphere. So we will model it spatially and see something we call the ground level concentration. At human height, let's say about 2 meters, average human height, what will be the level there? And with these levels that they will release when they start the operation, are they affecting any sensitive receptors? So we can model this and give it to the company and tell them that, look, per the stack is something like the chimney. Let me say the chimney where the pollutants will come out. We can tell them that if you are having a chimney of maybe 50 meters or 60 meters, this will be the effects of emission that you release into the atmosphere. But if you move it to 70 meters or 80 meters, probably the concentration will reduce because they are also turbulent in terms of wind speed, wind velocity, and what have you, which appreciably also reduce the amount of emission that the company releases into the atmosphere. So we do all this research, we give it to the client. Client will also give it to EPA. EPA will look at it and say that, okay, do A, B, C, and D in order to make sure that your operations will not have an potentially adverse effects on the receiving communities. Because the communities where they operate, communities are there. So we've done a lot of such researches, and we have given reports to the clients, which the client also send it to EPA. EPA will look at it and advise appropriately what needs to be done. Globally, there is something we call ESG, environmental and social governance. These environmental and social governance issues are being integrated in all businesses. And believe you me, investors are using these environmental and social governance factors or tools as a means of assessing which businesses they want to deal with. Because the moment you begin to factor environmental and social governance issues into your operations, it means that you become conscious of the environment. You don't want to pollute. You become conscious of the community or society. You don't want your activities to affect them. So when you integrate this into your business operations, you are doing something we call sustainability or sustainable business. And sustainable business, it means that simultaneously you are taking care, you are responsible for human health and also providing happiness. Meanwhile, you are also taking care of the environmental quality and also the economic well-being of whatever you are doing for present generation and also the future generation at home. So we are providing sustainable business, and companies are advised to incorporate environmental and social governance into their operations. Doc, so yes, we provide some of this research.
Okay.
And it's because ours is basically on commercial level. We give it out and it's up to the client. We also sometimes advise the client to do A, B, C, and D. It also goes to EPA. They look at those researches and they can give compliance requirements that based upon this research, do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Likewise, even fuel stations. There are instances where a company, somebody will take a fuel station to court. EPA may require that a research is done just to ascertain the veracity or otherwise of the claim of those who have taken the companies to court. So these things are done, but the point I raised earlier on that it should be on the large scale so that when we are understanding maybe pollution, for instance, air pollution, for instance, we are taking the entire Greater Accra and we understand the air shed, that this is the pollution in terms of spatial distribution that we are getting here. Then we will understand it better.
I see. But I'm sure that sometimes there are challenges to some of this, making sure things will get better, making sure your researchers goes out there, you do research for a client. Are there challenges regarding what you also do to help us in protecting our environment?
Yes, there are challenges. First and foremost, I think the Ghana Standard Authority, it just with standards and research. You use one particular piece of equipment, somebody use a different piece of equipment, we've all produced a report. Because the equipment that we use may have some inherent errors in them, it becomes very difficult to compare the results. And so I follow may be different from what you also follow. But I think the Ghana Standard Authority, as and protocols, methodology to follow when we are doing some of these researches, so that the results, the outcome will be more comparable and share with others. Yes, some of the challenges. You know, where we live, most of the equipment, state-of-the-art, cutting-edge equipment are not produced here. Sometimes you need to buy them from outside. Some of these things are very expensive to procure them. Sometimes when a piece breaks down, if you don't have a spare, it means that when you send this thing out there, it's going to take a number of months before they will be repaired and brought it back. And if you are doing research and there is a break in gap of data collection, it means that whatever you set out to understand, you may not be able to understand it fully, and your conclusions may be confounding. There are type 1 or type 2 errors where the thing is that you may say that it is not there just because of gap in the data that you are collecting, based upon the fact that you had a piece of equipment broken down and sending it for repairs, and it's taking a number of months to repair. Sometimes too, you need certified reference standards. They are not produced here in Ghana. Certified reference standards ensure that what you are doing, or measurement or data you are getting, can stand the test of time, and therefore you want to do calibration and also run a certified reference standard globally acknowledged, so that you know results that you are churning out or you are producing are very accurate and precise results, because the implications and of the results that you churn out to clients are very huge. So you want to ensure that you are giving out results that are very accurate and also very precise. But where do we get certified reference material outside? And sometimes it takes time to come. Some of them have shelf life. You are buying chemicals to do laboratory analysis. Some of them have shelf life, 6 months, 1 year. Sometimes you bring it and they may be dead because it takes time for the procurement process to go on. You want to buy probably in appreciable quantities. They come, you may not be able to finish, and the expiration date sets in. You need to probably discard all these chemicals here and there. So yes, there are challenges that are associated with some of these researches in terms of equipment, in terms of procurement of chemicals, calibration standards, and what have you, in order to come out with results or outcome that are very precise and accurate and can stand the test of time.
Doc, like you mentioned earlier, human development and activities are also hampering on our environment. How do you think humans can reduce the impact on the environment and the problems we create to affect the environment?
Yes, it's one thing that we should all be conscious of, and we should be stewards of the environment. We should, in fact, you can be steward of an environment and take precautionary measures to safeguard the environment if we understand the repercussions of our actions or activities on the environment, which is very important, crucial. So if we don't understand, people will just get up and throw rubbish into water bodies instead of sending the rubbish to appropriate location, or let appropriate people come and collect them. We don't understand. So first and foremost, there is a need for public or societal education for us to appreciate and understand what is required, that when you do something, come back to you. Take, for instance, the galamsey issue. People are using cyanide in order to process the good ore. At the end of the day, they put everything in the water bodies. People at the downstream, they fetch this water, they drink. And those are the upstream who are doing some of these things. They may have relatives downstream. So the amount of money you are getting from the good that you process and sell, you may indirectly use that same money for your relative to attend to hospitals based upon the fact that you have polluted the water and people have taken the water and they have drank it and it's causing a whole lot of ailments for them. So if people understand some of these things, they will appreciate. For instance, there are others who are also life forms within this water, notably fishes. There are people who rely on the fishes for their daily bread. So when you pollute this water, chances are that some of the fishes will die, catch levels will reduce. Some chances are also that some of these fishes may pick this pollutant into their system, amplify it, and we are human beings, top predators. Invariably, these fishes will be on our dining table. We will take all the pollutants which have been amplified, bioaccumulated into the fishes, and we take all of them, and we end up being the warehouse of all these pollutants. So people should understand the devastating impacts of their activities on the environment. If they understand, they will be in a better position to protect the environment. But if they don't understand, whatever you do, they don't understand. They will continue to do the negative things that will affect the environment. So there should be holistic effort to ensure that education is brought to the doorstep of everybody, especially environmental education, for people to understand that our activities are having impacts on the environment. On the business level, yes, something is being done. Companies, they know they have a requirement. They have a responsibility to safeguard the environment and safeguard society. So something is being done on that particular level to even measure their emissions, their effluents that they are churning out per their operational activities.
Well said. So then, Doctor has called for environmental education. We should open it up and do more to sensitize the general public. Doc, do you think our bylaws are also more effective? Are they really working to deter people from getting into some areas that we shouldn't be getting into to affect the environment?
The bylaws are there from the local assembly level.
Yes.
The bylaws are there, but enforcement of the bylaws have become problematic.
Okay.
And politics have made the enforcement of the bylaws very problematic, because in fact, quite recently, a funny story though, somebody called me 2 weeks ago, a chief, claim is a chief, called me 2 weeks ago, and he was talking to me about something, and I told him I didn't understand where he was driving at. And he said, he made a reference to the fact that he was putting up a building, and task force came to the place to stop the work. And he called me, complained to me, and I asked him to go through the process of acquiring a permit before he can continue the building. And the man didn't understand that why should he, being a chief, he should go through that process and acquiring, and he was furious, and he was even insulting me on the phone for taking him through this process. Yes, so the bylaws are there. Enforcement become a challenge, and it's a challenge because there are political ramifications to it. Just look at when the president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, try to enforce the galamsey law, making sure that people don't do galamsey and what have you. What happened?
Yes.
The party lost in almost all the galamsey
areas.
constituencies. Yes. So even at the top, the presidency level, that people are recalcitrant to this, let alone the local assembly level where you stay with the people. They know you were with them before, probably you got to that particular position, and sometimes people are threatened. People are threatened. If you come here again to come and do this, we'll beat you. And it makes the people who are supposed to enforce the law very docile. We're not able to probably, because they're also afraid of their lives here and there. So there is a bit of politics which have given credence to some of these enforcement of the law, and I think it's high time we looked at it and see means of making sure that some of these things are enforced. But the bylaws are there in their numbers.
But from your professional angle or opinion, do you think Ghana, we are losing the fight against safeguarding our environment?
I wouldn't say we are losing. We know what we needed to do. We know the processes involved, but enforcing it or making sure that it is implemented, it is done according to the letter, is becoming a problem. For instance, let me give you a quick. I came across a document about plastic policy for Ghana.
Yes.
And in the document, it's quite refreshing that 82% of the plastic that we generate in country will be able to recover them through the existing technologies that we have in the country. And annually, 1 million tons of plastic waste could be generated into value addition products. And these value addition products may give Ghana 2 billion Ghana cedis, and may also create about 5 million jobs for people in the country. So I ask myself, so if this brilliant document and with this, why are we not implementing them? That is a big question. Why are we not implementing them?
Yes.
If we looked at maybe some of the ministries, their policy documents, there is a blueprint where we needed to put up waste to energy facility within the entire country. We don't have waste to energy facility, and we are always looking at the places where we need to dispose of our waste. Now, landfill sites are no longer viable options because there's competition between human settlement and also landfill sites. So all the lands that are needed to be used for landfill sites are no longer available. And even apart from that, the leachates and other things that are produced at the landfill sites affect the underground aquifers. So it is no longer an option. But the waste that we are looking for a place to put them, the wastes are probably a raw material. They are raw material. If you go to Sweden, if you go to Finland, if you go to other areas, they are importing waste. They are importing waste just to incinerate the waste into value addition, into producing electricity. And even the byproduct of some of the waste are even engineered into something else altogether. So they are operating what has now come to be known as circular economy. Nothing is waste. a waste from one process is a raw material for other process. So we have all these things. Information is so rife in our system, but why are we not doing some of these things? That is a question we should all ask ourselves. Why are we not doing some of these things? Because we know what is good, what's supposed to be done, yes, the process involved, and whatever. So why are we not doing? That is a question that we need to ask, and it goes directly to policy makers, and also the implementers of the policies.
I see. And well, we are having a conversation this morning on the breeze. There's the breeze chart, and my guest this morning, ỌDADEƐ, Dr. Emmanuel Lamptey, the impact of the environmental research here in Ghana. From some of the things he's saying, that's how come I asked whether we are losing the fight against the environment, and looking at some of the dangerous factors that are being mentioned, and some of the human activities that are gradually coming up each and every day. Sometimes one is tempted to feel like we are maybe possibly losing the fight against the environment. But Dr. Lamptey says, I believe that we are still on course and everything will be well. Let's believe and also continue to do our part in our own small way, just to contribute to safeguarding the environment. If you have any questions or comments, you can join us on the Breeze Chat now on 02000 92925. 02000 92925. Coming back to you, Dr. Lamptey. Here in Ghana, what are the four most common environmental problems? I mean, if you can quickly take us through so that we take note of them. The most common four problems in terms of our environment here in Ghana, the problems.
So I think the first one I've mentioned, plastic waste.
Yes.
Plastic waste is the number one, and in fact, I feel shy to even call it a waste.
Yes.
Because it's a raw material. It's a raw material. And based upon the policy document I came across, and I've mentioned what the assessment that they have done and what we could, it's one of the major issues that's it's affecting us. It's not only on the land areas, but also the marine environment. The marine environment. There are a lot of litter, we call beach litter or waste, which are gone into the marine environment, because almost all our rivers empty into the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and they are life forms, sea turtle, marine mammals. They are chewing some of these plastics. And, you know, these things are not biodegradable. It takes years for them to decompose. And they are killing these organisms all over. So the major one, it's the plastic waste. The second one, I may point, it's biodiversity loss. Biodiversity loss. When we talk about biodiversity, we are talking about life forms, different organisms, living organisms, living in their particular habitats or their home. They are the biodiversity, the different forms that we have. Our activities are reducing most of them. So you look at aquatic environment, rivers, lagoons, lakes, estuaries, and also the marine environment at the whole. There are certain life forms that we know, especially if you take fish. Do you know this fish called opitekuku? Do you know opitekuku?
Opitekuku.
Yes, some of the days we call them erefua.
Erefua, okay, I know erefua.
Yes, we call it opitekuku.
Okay.
When was the last time you set eyes on that fish?
It's been very long, quite long.
Yes.
I don't even think we still have them in the system.
Yes. So that particular fish, do you know the flesh is like meat?
Yes.
It's like a meat.
Yes.
And when you look at the skin, The women even use it to sandpaper their cooking utensil and make it more
because
brighter.
of its rough nature.
Because of it's more than even the sandpaper that even the carpenters use.
Yes.
Where is that particular fish? It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone forever and ever. Since 1960s, 1970s to latter part of 1980s, that people came across some of these things. We don't see them again. So the potentials that they have, we are losing them. In fact, in human history, all the pharmaceutical products and things that we have been able to get, we get them from these organisms we call biodiversity, the different life forms that we have. And we have not studied all of them. We don't even know them. But now they are going into extinction. Our activities, we are polluting, we are destroying their habitat, we are destroying their environment, and they are gradually going into extinction. And therefore, the benefits, the human benefits and the services that they provide to the system, benefits we need to derive from them, they are all being what? Eroded. So the major one is biodiversity.
Okay.
If you go to our forest areas, we are just cutting the forests left and right. We are producing timber left and right and cutting the forest. There's also competition from human settlements. Go to Sakumo, Sakumo Lagoon. The lagoon is being shrunk. It's being reduced in size. People are consciously filling the lagoon just to put up what? Structures, human settlement. So we are losing biodiversity at alarming rates. And when there's a saying that when the last tree dies,
the last man dies.
The last man, whatever, dies. Because we derive a lot of, if we have more trees, these trees may sequester the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere in the process of their primary production. And therefore, they will reduce the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. But we are cutting them. And at the same time, our activities are raising carbon dioxide levels. So it's a double-edged sword that we are doing, and we are affecting this. So that is biodiversity. It's a serious issue, both in the aquatic environment and also our forest areas. We are causing very devastating harm to our biodiversity. The other one is pollution. They're all related. Pollution. People take their boiler, they just put it anywhere. People put cyanide and other things in water bodies. People use unorthodox means of harvesting. People are applying chemicals into their agric farms, which are not the prescribed ones. We are doing all sorts of things. So we are polluting the air, we are polluting our water bodies, and we are polluting our soil. So even the food that we eat are full of sometimes trace elements which are not good for our health. So pollution is the number one. The third one that we are facing at the moment. And when you look, all these things are related. They are related. The other one is I've mentioned already, the land degradation. Land degradation. We are just spoiling our land. Some are doing galamsey. Chinese people are here. Everybody is doing forests, even forest reserves. People are mining in forest reserves. Life forms there, biodiversity there will be lost. At the same time, they are destroying the land. They are also creating pollution. Some of these pollutants, when it rains, these runoffs will find their way into the river bodies. They are carried along to the downstream. So these are the things which are affecting us, and they are very alarming. They are very alarming. But majority of us have kept mute over it. Those who are actively doing something probably are also facing challenges here and there, and therefore they are stressed, and they have a limit to which they want to mitigate or arrest some of this deterioration in our environmental systems.
Doc, at your institution, that is Envasev, what are some of the basic services that you offer before you take leave of us, because we'll be wrapping up in some few minutes?
Okay, so at Envasev Research Consult, let me say basically anything that concerns the environment. Anything that concerns environment. So we provide consultancy, and in every aspect of the environment, every company whatsoever, it could be mining, it could be manufacturing, it could be oil and gas, energy, transportation, communication. We provide all these services to the clients.
Okay.
And our activities are accredited. They are certified activities. We also have a state-of-the-lab laboratory that will provide testing and analysis for anything that you can think of as an environment, including even stone. Including stone. Yes, you can bring a stone. It could be scanned chemically, whatever is in it. We'll let you know. We do even petroleum quality analysis, diesel and fuel, water, fertilizer. We've been providing fertilizer certification for Ministry of Agric here at our lab. Water, anything that has to do with environment, we are able to offer our services with that.
So then where can you be located, and probably if you have any numbers people could reach you on?
So we are located at Accra. We are at Swotum. If our website, envasevconsult.com, envasevconsult.com. When you get to our website, any other thing that you want, there, everything is there. If there are things that you needed and are not listed on our website, when you call us, the contact is also there. info@envasevconsult.com. When you send us an email, we'll respond to you immediately, and make sure that we provide, we come and serve you per what you require, so that you also operate in a friendly and sustainable environment.
So, like after the clients comes in and you do all those researches, you give a certificate, or what do you do? What is the take home for the clients?
So based upon what you require,
yes,
when we finish, yes, we'll give you a certificate. And let me also mention that our lab is an accredited lab.
Okay.
It's an accredited lab by ISO 17025 2017 accreditation, which is, there are only few laboratory in our system which are accredited within the latest one. So all activities are accredited. Our consultancy activities are certified. Our laboratory activities are also accredited. So per the requirement, yes, we have to issue you with certificates of analysis, that when your samples are completed. Sometimes when you also call us, you are facing challenges, we can come and look at it, discuss with you, understand your issues, then we can advise you appropriately what needs to be done for you to take the decision. Then we will be able to help you resolve your environmental issues.
So I'm sure that you deal with individuals and institutions as well.
Yes, individuals and institutions and what have you. Let me tell you a quick story. There was an institution where offices, and for a number of months, people that goes to the offices, a particular offices, they come out with headache and they be visiting the hospitals. So people were vacating the offices. They call us to come and do an assessment. So there were a number of offices, about 8 or 9 or so. We assess all the offices. There were 2 offices where levels that we measure and the pollutants, specific pollutants, were very high, and even the front desk. So we asked, what was so common in those offices. Apparently, they procure a very fresh furniture sets at 2 of those offices. So the furniture sets that they procure were emitting, I think they used thinner or some chemicals to treat the wood, and that was being emitted into the office, and it's been accumulated in the office for a number, and that is why when people get into the office, they get headache, they get all sorts of sicknesses. So we're able to identify and tell them that, look, this it's not good. Some of the chemical that we identify was formaldehyde. You know, formaldehyde, they use to embalm bodies, dead bodies, corpse. Yes, but because they use it to treat the wood, we were able to capture formaldehyde in the room. And even at the front desk, a fresh carpet that they bought, were emitting pollutants, and we're able to capture. So we told them what they needed to do in order to reduce the impacts on them. So individuals and companies, we provide services for almost all of them.
Okay. Before you take leave of us, what will be your last words and possibly an advice from you to the general public?
So my quick, first and foremost, I want to thank your listeners and also your viewers for tuning in to listen to this environmental discussion. The environment is where we find ourselves.
Yes.
Whatever we do, we are part of the environment. It should be our responsibility. It should be our primary or legal responsibility to be conscious of environment, to be stewards of the environment, for us to protect the environment, because the environment provides us almost all the things that we need to live happily as humans. So if our activities affect the environment in a way, we are indirectly killing ourselves. So let's protect our environment. Let's be conscious of our environment. Consciousness means that when somebody is doing something wrong, you should be bold enough and tell the person what you are doing. It's not right. You should have done it this way, or you should do it that way. Let's all protect our environments and be conscious of it. Educate those who are not enlightened about the environmental challenges that we are facing at the moment. And we also encourage those who are doing their researches, the policymakers, the implementers, to also be very proactive, so that we all together protect our environment, because that is the only home that we have to protect. And we are protecting them for posterity. We are protecting them for ourselves now, so that we'll derive the maximum benefits from the environment, whilst we maintain their identity and integrity for future unborn generations to come. I thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to interact with all your viewers and also your listeners.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lamte. We are so grateful you made time to join us out of your busy schedules, and we'll be looking forward to see you on campus this Friday.
Sure.
Yes, the ỌDADEɛ Touch and Bonfire night. We'll be looking forward to seeing you.
Great, Joe. I'm very grateful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. We have to end it here, and we are so grateful to our guest this morning for making time to join us. He is an award-winning environmental scientist and consultant, founder and CEO of EnvaServe Research Consult. Joining us, ỌDADEƐ Dr. Emmanuel Lamte. We are so much grateful once again for his time.
ỌDADEƐ Radio. Like us on Facebook at
Alright, so we had it all, and we need to play our simple rules to ensure that we are keeping our environment safe. The environment is what we live in. Keeping it safe keeps us all out of danger of dangerous pollutants, losing our biodiversity, degrading our lands, polluting our lands and water resources. It's all something we all need to move away from. Let's do our bit. Let's play our role to ensure that we are keeping our environment safe. Once again, big thank you to ỌDADEɛ Dr. Emmanuel Lamte for joining us, and also to you out there for your time. Signing off on behalf of the production team, ỌDADEɛ Zonda and ỌDADEɛ Edefiko. My name is DJ Use. God willing, I'm back on Wednesday with another exciting edition of The Breeze. Have a good afternoon.
No may see much. Yes, see much. Mewo. Beat it, I found with you. Yes, me out to me and do, baby. Mewo, Gary, you're not one of them. Mogapado. Young papa, seven coming young town. It's not coming in, I am fan. Young pagentum, young petro, a grangum no show cry. Now may see my yes, see my Obiaram Brana, oh my amfa. Obiaram Brana, oh my amfa. Nane nyame boyan yamfa. Nane nyame boyan yamfodo. Yamfa biaku yanyomeni.
ỌDADEƐ Radio. Like us on Facebook at ỌDADEƐ Radio. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
Yamfodo, Yamfa biaku ya no done jumazini.